Someone who has been following the Brangelina breakup closely is A-list matchmaker to the stars and internationally renowned relationship expert Amber Kelleher-Andrews.
Now, Amber joins us live out of San Fran now. Amber, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us today. Now, you can't disclose your client list to protect their privacy, of course, but you've been widely credited in the media as helping many celebrities find love, including Jen Aniston and Paula Abdul and the Rockefeller family even. What can you tell us about your work?
Well, Kelleher International is a global company, so we do work with a lot of people in Australia. But we were founded 3 decades ago. We're a family business. My mother, Jill Kelleher, started it in the 80s. So we are well known here. It's not, you know, an app or an online dating. It's very personalized. We get to know all of our clients, and we tend to work mainly with high-level entrepreneurs, business leaders, and, of course, a lot of celebrities. And I have to say, it's a little embarrassing when a wax figure defines your decision-making process.
Yes, that's right.
OK, we're seeing shots of you here next to various stars. It was back in 2005, though, for a matchmaker, you actually predicted that Brangelina would not last. So why do you think, in your professional opinion, they were a bad match?
Well, it's not really that they're a bad match, because they obviously have a lot of commonalities, and I think that in many ways they were a very interesting match. I just didn't think it was going to last because they were up against quite a few obstacles right from the get-go. So, for example, both of them being not only stars, but absolute superstars in their respective industries, they shared that. So it brings on a lot of competition, both healthy and unhealthy competition. And then you also have this resentment. I mean, who's to say that Angelina's film is more important than Brad's? And they're also competing for directing, producing, writing, and whether or not they're going to star in each other's films. She already had a child, as we know, and he soon adopted 2. And then they continued to add to their family, 3 of which are from other parts of the world. So while I find it very admirable that they're taking the children back to their homelands and teaching them of the culture and their heritage, it makes for a very challenging schedule. And then, of course, there was the public image that they had to get over right from the start. It was Club Jen. I think it still is. We're seeing a lot of that come back, obviously. But, you know, coming in as a homewrecker, people were not going to sympathize with her. She was up against the friends. She was up against Pitt's family, who had taken Jennifer in as their daughter-in-law. And then, of course, the health issues with the double mastectomy and all the other things that she was concerned about with her mother's cancer. So it was really a recipe for disaster. It lasted quite some time, but it was a very challenging relationship to see it through in the end.
So do you say, as a rule, that when it starts bad, it ends bad, as it has in this case?
Well, you know, that's a karmic saying, what goes around comes around. And if you look at the tweets that are going out, you know, a lot of people say that Angelina had this coming. But really what I see as a matchmaker are patterns, repetition. Especially in relationships, people can be quite dysfunctional in the choices that they make, which is why matchmaking is such a smart thing to do if you know yourself well enough to protect yourself from your own self. So in this case, they started off with a lot of negativity. I mean, it was an affair. There was a lot of manipulation. There was some deceit. There was a lot of lies. And so to see a pattern come about later on is not uncommon, and it's not very rare, and I'm certainly not surprised. There's another alleged affair, whether it's true or not. It has to do with a leading woman. It has to do with Brad, and it's just as complicated going out in the tabloids as it was coming in.
So we're talking about his French co-star, Marion Cotillard, I think is how you say it. You've spoken with some of her relatives. What have you heard from the relatives of Marion?
Well, this family is denying the affair. I mean, she's a very well-respected actress. She was actually the first French actress to win an Academy Award. But she is, you know, an Angelina Jolie of Europe. I mean, she is a superstar. She is very well respected, though, and very loved, which I think is a different personality trait that Angelina has. To this day, as incredible as Angelina has been with the ambassador work that she does and with the children and all of the good deeds, she's never really had the general public warm up to her. Whereas people love Marion. And I think that with the fact that Angelina came out with this accusation that was an affair. I don't know really how fair that is without actual proof, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But for the moment, they are denying the affair, and she's also pregnant, which complicates things, but she's supposedly happily married, and the family themselves are not speaking out against this. They're just denying it in complete denial. Absolutely.
That would be terrible if it's not true. Horrible if it's true, but terrible if it's not true, because this will define her, as you say. You know, it's one of her big launching platforms into Hollywood and indeed America.
Well, I'm sure that the fear has always been there for Angelina. I mean, it's very intimidating to be married and to know that the man that you're married to actually did cheat on his wife the first time. So, you know, rumors have been that when Angelina joined the two of them on the set, Brad and Marion, that Marion was very interested in meeting Angelina and was excited that she was on the set, but she was absolutely given a cold shoulder. She wasn't given any time of day, and there's been this competition with Angelina right from the get-go. And even though Angelina was very close with her mother, she doesn't seem to find that warmth with other women, including Brad's mom. So it's been a very difficult thing for Angelina to find anybody to kind of sympathize with her and see her as the victim in any of this, which is unfortunate, because she is the mother of 6 children. Yes. But nobody's really siding with Angelina in this. And again, it's the karma. What goes around comes around.
Amber, you say you also have connections to some of Angelina's confidants. I mean, this is interesting. You say she doesn't really have many female friends?
Well, that just goes to the same point. I mean, it's very interesting. Now, granted, she's an extremely busy woman. She is directing, she's writing, she's producing, and she's the mother of 6, and she's, you know, was Brad's wife, and until their divorce still is. But I think it's very telling when Brad Pitt's parents, for example, really took Jennifer Aniston in from day one. And that marriage was actually a shorter time than the amount of time that Angelina and Brad had been together. There also were no grandchildren involved, and yet they absolutely adored Jennifer. And to this day, you don't see a lot of that same love and affection for Angelina, even though she is the mother to 6 of their grandchildren. You also don't see any photographs of Angelina with any other women. For example, we don't see George Clooney's wife breaking bread with Angelina in anything. But you do see her with nannies, and you see her with the children. And so I just don't think that she has the capacity to bring women in and find that camaraderie with them.
Okay. Probably doesn't eat a lot of bread either. Just...
No, that's...
Well, you know, when you work in Hollywood, which I do, you tend to know a lot of the producers, and you know a lot of the people that work with her, and that's just what everybody has said. I mean, she's very businesslike. She really does orchestrate how the public sees her, and her hanging out with a girlfriend over lunch has just never been in her agenda.
Okay. Amber, terrific to talk to you today. Thank you. Of course, we're fascinated with it all the way down under and can't get enough of it. So thank you for helping us through it today. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thanks. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.